Shalom Yasha'Allah is brother Mapathak. That'd be key, but in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. And it's gonna be just a quick video through the spirit. Brothers don't really have anything written down or planned out, but I just got finished reading a few chapters in First Samuel, right, and reading about King David, and I was compelled through the spirit to kind of go into this lesson, basically just touching on how King David is a great example for us in his truth, right? And we should strive to be like King David. You understand? Because King David had a perfect heart after the Most High God. You understand? And then before we go into it, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's all praise, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, who the world will ignorantly call Jesus Christ. But we know him as Yahweh Shai in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. And I want to start this off here in Acts 13. It's going to be a super quick video through the spirit. Right? So this is Acts 13 and 22. And it says, this is what I want. It says, and when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart. And this is why King David is a great example for us in this truth, right? We should seek to have a heart after the Most High, right? What does it mean that David had a heart after the Most High? It means that, David literally meditated on nothing but how to please the Most High, right? He meditated on nothing but the words of the Most High, right? That's literally what, he had a mind towards the Most High. That's a beautiful thing, a mind after the Most High. So reading that part again, it says, a man after my own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. And that's all King David cared about, was fulfilling the will of the Lord. Right? Kind of like when you think about Yahushua. Right? Yahushua said, know ye not that I must be about my father's business. It was the same thing with King David. He had a heart after the father's heart. Right? And he wanted to fulfill the will of the Lord. And Salakia, I just had a precept in mind. Let's go to First Kings, right? And this is First Kings chapter 11 and verse 4. It says, for it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, his God, as was the heart of David his father. So David had a perfect heart after the Most High. And that's heavy, you understand? For the Most High God to look at David's heart and say, hey, he has a perfect heart in my sight, man. Right? Meaning, all he thought about was the Lord all day. Right? And a lot of us, we get so caught up with the cares of this world. We're too caught up with our wives, right? Brothers caught up with their wives, their children, right? Their 9-to-5 job. You understand? That they don't think, sometimes they don't think about the will of the Lord, right? Sometimes we get too caught up with the cares of this world, and that's why we become stressed, right? We start to deal with anxiety because we let all the cares of this world overtake our minds, right? And kind of cloud our judgment. When really we should always be thinking about how to fulfill the will of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, right? Like our forefather King David, which is why his heart was perfect with the Most High God. And we should strive to have that perfect heart, right? We should strive to ask and pray that the Most High God cleanse our heart and remove from us vain thoughts. Right, let's get this real fast. I believe it's Psalms 118. And it's not what I want. Let's try 119. 119. That's what I want. And this is King David. This is Psalms chapter 119 and verse 113. And when you read through the book of Psalms, you can see how perfect his heart was with the Most High, right? The different prayers, right? His different testimonies that you can read throughout the book of Psalms, right? Which is King David, right? But read in Psalms chapter 119 and verse 113, it says, I hate vain thoughts, but thy law do I love. You see that? So King David hated when vanity came in his meditation, right? He didn't want to meditate on vain things, the things of this world, right? He wanted to meditate on the laws of the Most High. He said, in the law of the Most High does he meditate day and night. Let's stay in the same chapter, Psalms 119, and let's go to verse 15, right? It says, I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways. So King David's meditation was literally in the words of the Lord, man, right? That's all he thought about all day and all night, man, right? And you constantly read throughout the book of Psalms, and chiefly when it comes to the book of Psalms, the 119, right, chapter 119, you see how much David loved the word of Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai, man, right? You see it throughout the whole chapter. And let me jump up to verse 10. This whole chapter is a good chapter. But verse 10, it says, with my whole heart, right? Meaning with his whole mind, you understand? Have I sought thee, right? Oh, let me not wander from thy commandments. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. You see that? So he meditates on nothing but the word of the Most High. And this is why he had a perfect heart toward the Most High, man. Right? Let's go down to verse 97. Verse 97, it says, Salaki, it says, oh, how I love thy law. It is my meditation all the day. And it's plain. King David meditated on the law of the Lord all the day. He said, oh, how I love thy law. It is my meditation all the day. And a lot of brothers can't even give the Lord 10 minutes out of the day, right? Brothers want to play the video game all day. Brothers want to watch TV, right? Watch movies, right? Watch them power, you understand? And all matters of folly and vanity. And brothers can't even give 10 minutes out of their day to meditate on the words of the Lord, to read, right? Brothers can't give the Lord an hour out of their day to study, right? To do a video and edify the nation, edify the church, edify the elect, right? And but yet King David said the word of the Lord was his meditation all the day, man. Right? So we have to read about our forefathers and strive to follow after our righteous forefathers, man. Right? And especially when you read about things like King David having a perfect heart towards the Most High, we should want to have a perfect heart towards the Most High. So we should allow King David to be an example unto us, right? And let's go to 1 Samuel 17. 1 Samuel 16, Salakia. So once again, you see how King David say, hey, the law of the Lord is my meditation all the day, man. Right? But you got a lot of brothers that'll tell you, oh, sorry, brother, I couldn't come up with a lesson because, oh, I can't meditate on the word right now. Right? My job, my wife, my household, my rent is due. But yet King David, hey, he meditated on the words of the Lord all the day, man. Right? And he had a perfect heart towards the Most High. And hey, I understand we're not gonna be like King David, but we should strive to be. You understand? And this is why King David was ultimately chosen to replace King Saul. Right? Let's go to 1 Samuel 16 and let's start from 6. It says, this is 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 6. It says, and it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. Right? And this is when Samuel was sent to Bethlehem to anoint the king. Right? Well, to anoint King David, I should say. And he's going from brother to brother, right? King David's brothers. And the first one he came amongst was Eliab, the eldest, right? So I'm going to read verse 6 again. It says, and it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. Right? So he looked at Eliab, he looked at his outward appearance and said, hey, this has to be the Lord's anointed. He might have looked at mighty on the outside, right? Might have had a, whatever it was. He looked at him and said, hey, this has to be the one that the Lord's anointed him. The Lord is anointing, Salakia. In verse 7, it says, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature. Right? So, Eliab probably had a fair countenance. Right? He probably been probably was a tall brother. right? But the Lord said, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For a man looketh from the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh from the heart. And this is why King David was ultimately anointed, right, and chosen as a king, because of his perfect heart, right? Because the Lord looking from the outward appearance. Salakia, the man looking from the outward appearance, but Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, he looking from the heart, right? So he said he wanted King David, the youngest, right, the keeper of the flock, because he had a perfect heart towards him. And I'm gonna read on. This whole chapter is good. It says, then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, neither hath the Lord chosen this, right? So another one of King David's brothers, he said, hey, I haven't chosen him either. Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by, and he said, neither hath the Lord chosen this. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel, and Samuel said unto Jesse, the Lord hath not chosen these, right? And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send forth and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. Right? Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon David that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. Right? And that's the point. Right? Samuel was chosen. Though he was the youngest, though he was just a shepherd, right, the keeper of the sheep, the Lord said, hey, that's who you're going to anoint right there, right, the youngest, right, because he has a perfect heart towards me, because the Most High God doesn't see as man seeth. He doesn't look on the outward appearance, right? The Lord isn't looking at who's the tallest or who has the most muscles or who has this or anything on the outward appearance. The Lord is looking at your spirit, right? The Lord is looking at your heart. Right, so that's a beautiful account. And let's go to the next chapter, right? And this whole chapter, once again, is another beautiful chapter. But I want to go down to 1 Samuel 17, and I'm going to start from 25. I'm going to start from 23. It says, and as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them. Right, so you have this Philistine, Goliath, right? We should all know the story of David and Goliath that's coming upon the Israelites and basically mocking them and threatening them. Right? In verse 24, it says, and all the men of Israel, when they saw the men, fled from him and were sore afraid. And Israel, they were scared of this man. You understand? It says, and the men of Israel said, have you seen the man that has come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. Right, in verse 26. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? Right, so while everybody else is in a state of fear, King David is kind of like, man, who is this damn uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of Yasha'Allah, man? Right, defy the armies of the living God, man. Who is he? Right, and this is another example of his heart, right? The heart that he had towards the Most High. He believed through the Spirit, hey, I could take this man down if it be the Lord's will, right? As long as the Lord is on my side, I could take this man down, right? And that shows his heart, man. A lot of brothers would have been scared, like the rest of Israel, right? But he really had the Spirit of the Lord dwelling within him, man, right? He had a perfect heart towards the Most High, right? So he saw these things on a spiritual level. He wasn't being carnal like the rest of Israel. They seen this giant man with all this armor, right? Who was the champion of the Philistines. And they kind of thinking carnal and was scared. But King David was spiritually minded. He said, hey, I worship the living power, man. Right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right? And I'm gonna read on. This is a beautiful account. Actually, one of my favorite accounts in the scriptures. And verse 28, it says, Eliab, his brother, oldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, Why comest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? Right? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thine heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. Right? So his brother is kind of in a spirit of jealousy, right? He's saying, oh, you're just coming down here because you're prideful, right? You just want to see the battle, right? He kind of was in a spirit of jealousy towards David, right? Because he's seen the spirit, the fearless spirit that was on David. You understand? Right? And David, and he know David was anointed. So you can see through the spirit that he was most likely operating in a spirit of jealousy, right? Envy. And David said, What have I now done? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him toward another and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard before David, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. Right? And this is when it starts to get really good, man. It says, And David said to Saul, Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine. So David told everybody, Hey, don't be scared, man. I'm going to go and fight this man. You understand? Right? A true king, man. Right? A perfect heart towards the Most High God. You understand? And it says, And Saul said to David, Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. Right? And Saul was still being carnal. Saul couldn't perceive that the battle is the Lord's. You understand? It's not a carnal battle, right? And the Lord is working with King David. He's going to take down that man. But King David understood this, but Saul and the rest of Israel just couldn't see it, right? And it says in verse 34, And David said unto Saul, Thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock. Right, so King David is telling Saul, hey, because King David, he was a shepherd. So he said when he was keeping the sheep, it came a lion amongst him and the sheep, and they took a lamb out of the flock. Right, it came a lion and a bear, Salakia. And it says, And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. So King David, he slew a lion, man. Right, and a bear. Right, in verse 36, it says, Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he have defied the armies of the living God. David said, Moreover, the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear. So David didn't take the credit of himself. He didn't say, I'm a mighty man of valor, and that's why I was able to slay the lion and the bear. He gave the credit to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. He said, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear. It says, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go, and Yahweh be with thee. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with the coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off him. So David took off the armor and gave back the sword. Right? He didn't use any of those things. Right? And it says, he just had faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, And he took his staff in his hand and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook and put them in a shepherd's bag, which he had, even in the script. And his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine. And the Philistine came on and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him. So he pretty much looked down upon David. Like, who is this little guy that y'all sending upon me to fight with me? It says, For he was but a youth, and a ruddy and ruddy and of a fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, Am I a dog that thou comest to me with staffs? Right? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. Right? So he's kind of flexing, man. Right? And it says, Then said David to the Philistine, thou comest to me with the sword and with the spear. Right? So David kind of getting on him. He said, thou comest to me with the sword and with the spear and with the shield. Right? So David is like, you coming to me with all these carnal things. Right? A sword, a spear, a shield. Right? But reading on, it says, but I come to thee in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. Right? So he said you have confidence in your sword, right, in your might, and your shield, and your spear. But I come to you in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Let me get a quick precept real fast. Right? I love this account. Let's go to First Maccabees, chapter 8 and verse 18. Let's try Second Maccabees, Salakia. Second Maccabees 8 and verse 18. Right, this is what I want. Second Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 18. It says, for they say he trusts in their weapons and boldness. And that's pretty much what Goliath was doing. He was trusting in his weapons and he trusted in his boldness. Right? It says, but our confidence is in the Almighty God, who at a beck can cast down both them that come against us and also all the world, right? But our forefathers, our mighty forefathers, they had confidence in the Most High God. You understand? It wasn't how prepared and how well trained they were with the bow or with the spear or with the sword, right? It was the power that they were going to get through Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, through the Most High God, that gave them their confidence, right? So going back to the account, I'm gonna read verse 45 again. It says, then said David to the Philistine, thou comest to me with the sword and with the spear and with the shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai deliver thee into mine hand. So he said the Lord is going to deliver this damn uncircumcised Philistine into his hand, right? So his confidence was in the Lord. You understand? And this is why, once again, he's a great example for us. Right? Because he has a perfect heart towards the Most High. Right? He gave all praises, honor, and glory literally to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right? And that's a sign of a true man of the Lord. Right? You don't want to be a brother where somebody say, nice lesson, brother. And you say, oh yeah, thank you. I've been, hey, that's, you know how I do it. I got all the precepts. Right? You want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. A lot of brothers like to take credits to themselves, man. Right? But you seen what King David was doing. King David said, hey, that's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Hey, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to deliver you into my hand. Right? I come in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai delivered me from the lion and the bear. Right? It was all of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. He never took the credit. You understand? So that's a beautiful thing. And reading on, it says, verse 46 again from the top. It says, this day will Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee and take thy head from thee. Right? And I will give the carcass of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. Right? And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear. Right? Let's read that again. The Lord saveth not with sword and spear. Let's read it one more time. It says the Lord saveth not with sword and spear. Right? Because you have a lot of brothers, oh, I need 1,000 AKs and I need 5 AR-15s and I need to learn how to shoot my Desert Eagle because I'm going to need it in Jacob's trouble. And not saying it's not okay to be trained. Right? Not saying it's not okay to have a weapon. You understand? But I'm going to read this one more time. It says, the Lord saveth not with sword and spear. That sword is not going to save you. Your pistol, your AR-15 is not going to save you, right? Let's see what is going to save you. I'm going to read on. It says, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands, right? You see, that's what the battle is the Lord's. You got a lot of brothers that they might get shot or whatever might happen, and they might say, oh, if only I had my gun. I knew I should have bought an AR-15. You understand? No, brother. The Lord put you in that situation to get shot. Right? You could have never bought a gun, never had an AR-15, and the Lord protect you, and you never get in a situation where somebody could rob you, where somebody can harm you. You understand? Hey, everything is of the Lord. Right? A lot of brothers might have a brother getting his damn Shootout, man. He might have to kill Esau. Oh yeah, thank my gun. I'm so happy I bought this gun. If it wasn't for this gun, I might be dead right now. No, brother. If it wasn't for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, you would have been dead. Right? A lot of brothers can't perceive these things. But King David understood these things. You understand? He said the battle was the Lord's. So even when King David killed Goliath, he understood it wasn't because, oh, I'm just too good with my slingshot. Right? That was a perfect shot. He understood the whole time the battle was the Lord's. Right? In verse 48, it says, and it came to pass when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran towards the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face into the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with the sling and with the stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David. You see that? So the battle is of the Lord, right? The Lord delivered the Philistine into the hands of Yahweh Ba'ashem Salakia. The Lord delivered the Philistine into the hand of King David, right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai did that, right? So it's just some examples and things of that matter, how we can see how King David is a great example for us in his truth, right? When you're reading about King David, you should really ponder the things that you're reading into your heart, right? Because you have to understand how much favor the Lord bestowed upon King David and how much he loved King David, right? Kind of the same way when you read about Yahushua. You want to read about Yahushua as that, and Yahushua is obviously a next level example, that perfect example, right? But you have to understand how much mercy and grace the Lord bestowed upon King David, how much he loved King David, right? And how important King David is to us as Israelites. You understand, right? And that's pretty much all I really wanted to go into. Like I said, I didn't really have nothing prepared. I was just reading 1 Samuel, and when I read about King David, I just kind of meditate heavily on the things that I'm reading. But with that, I just want to say, Lord willing, this is edifying. Lord willing, brothers and sisters, gain some understanding while watching this, right? I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And I want to give a mighty shalom to the mighty Akim wa Akwat that tuned in to listen to the words of the Lord, right? Shalom, Yasha Allah.